All right, I'm going to talk about water. What I learned about water in the Philippines. Now you're looking at a well. I got to do a little electrical here. I'm sharing the electrical with the outbuilding right there. I haven't finished that yet, but you're looking at a well. We've got an acre of land in the province near Angeles City in a place called Magalang. Um, and not all places have well water, but you're going to have the same type of setup most likely. You're going to need a pump like that, a pressure tank like this, and some filters is a good idea also. Now, let me tell you why. Because most everywhere in the Philippines has absolute crap water pressure. And for us, we've got our master bedroom on the second floor up there. I had to actually run a dedicated line up the side of the wall up to the bathroom on the second floor because of crappy water pressure. And the reason is, even though I got my own well and my own pressure tank, they use 1/2-inch PVC here for running through the whole house. Even from this, the way it used to be, from this tank, they would just bust it down to 1/2-inch blue PVC, and that's running straight to the house, which is not sufficient. So the 1/2-inch looks like this. That's 1/2-inch. It's tiny. I got my supervisor right here. That's Lucy. Guard dog, guard dog, guard dog. And I'm getting attacked by the guard dog. Oh my god! Oh my god! You got to get you a guard dog. They're the best. Anyways, so if you've got 1/2-inch PVC, you're limiting your ability to use water. If anybody turns on a water hose, forget about it. Your shower just turns to a dribble. So we got this 1-inch. All right, quit, crazy, quit, get down out of here. I got the rabies. Quit, get down. She wants some dinner. Anyways, even if you're on city water, you probably got 1/2-inch pipes in your house, and you're probably sharing crappy water pressure with all of your neighbors. And if you don't have a water pressure problem now, you're probably going to have one in the future. So what I recommend doing, get yourself a pump, get yourself a pressure tank, and get yourself some filters. What we have here, these are available at most hardware stores, Ace, all that kind of stuff. The first filter is the sediment, and that's down to like 5 microns or whatever the heck it is. Normal, it's like a nylon rope, and that's what it looks like. And it's all wound nylon rope. And you change that like once every 3 months. And then this one is carbon filter. So this gets the crap out, and then this gets the smell out. So this well is 100 feet deep, which you can't really get a too deep a well in the Philippines just because there's not a well drilling rig available. They drill these by hand. So let's go over here and look at the chickens while I talk, because that's a little bit more fun. So anyways, the 100-foot well is not very deep, so it still smells a little sulfury at times. So that carbon filter makes a big difference. It basically gets rid of the smell. And my water, and I can't speak for everybody else's, but my water is pretty rich in iron. So like one thing to know about the water in the Philippines is, at least for me, it doesn't work very well with bleach. It turns the water brown. So if you're trying to bleach clothes, it actually turns the clothes brown. It works the opposite of what you think. But they have the stuff like OxyClean, which is like a bleach alternative. They have that here in the stores. And so that works good instead of bleach. So it doesn't turn brown like bleach does. And that will get you set up with what you need to get white clothes if you're in an area with high iron like I am. We could do some kind of more exotic filtering of the water to get the iron out, but there's no real need for that. And we do not drink the well water. That's one thing that you're going to do probably at your house too if you don't have a well, You're not going to drink the city water. We use water service. They send 5-gallon jugs, or you can go pick them up, and they're between 20 and 30 pesos for a refill on that 5-gallon jug. So that's what we use for drinking. But we wash dishes, take showers, brush our teeth, everything else with the well water. We just don't drink it. And you can get reverse osmosis filters here, but they're pretty expensive. And then if you did reverse osmosis, you could pretty much drink sewer water, because that's the best purification you can get. But it's pretty expensive, and I can buy a lot of 20 and 30 peso 5-gallon water jugs for the price of a 30,000 peso reverse osmosis setup. So that's what I'm doing. It's just too cheap to just get it delivered or go pick it up. And most places you can get those jugs. I recommend using the 5-gallon water jugs like we're accustomed to in the States. They also have some blue plastic jugs, and it has like a spigot on it, so you can turn it on and off with a spigot and set it down on your counter. So it makes more sense to use those. However, they taste pretty plasticky to me. The water tastes plasticky when it comes out of those. So I don't know, they talk about microplastics and all this other stuff. So I don't know what type of plastics going in that water from it being in that crappy water jug. So I use the 5-gallon water jugs that you're accustomed to seeing in the U.S. Those are prevalent here. You're just going to need some type of dispenser. And you can get a cheap dispenser off of Lazada. It's just basically a spigot that, or not a spigot, but you press a button, and it goes on top of the spout of the 5-gallon water jug. It goes on top of that, and then it has a holder that holds the jug kind of upside down, and then you just push a button, and it dispenses the water, and it doesn't taste plasticky or anything with this spout. And that spout's like 200 pesos, so it's dirt cheap. So you don't need what you're accustomed to seeing is like a thing that heats and cools the water that looks like a Star Wars R2-D2 or a robot or whatever. It's about this tall, and you put the water jug on top. I'm screwing you up. You put the water jug on top, and then it dispenses hot or cold water. You don't really need that. You can get that if you got a need for cold and hot water at all times, and you don't care about spending a couple thousand pesos at least for that, and then electrifying it and keeping it running like a refrigerator. I don't do that. We just use that little spout. It screws on to the 5-gallon jug, and that works great. Matter of fact, I'll show you that. No, I'm yakking about that. I can just walk inside real quick and show you that. That way there's no real question is what we're talking about here. But that setup works good. You got to screw the thing on pretty tight, so that's kind of annoying. But let me pause this and I'll pick it back up when I've got it ready to show you. All right, there's one right out here. All right, Kuya is using in the Kubo. I'll show you that real fast. So on Lazada, and I don't know what to call it, like a water dispenser. On Lazada, they sell this is stainless steel. They've got other options also. And you can see the water jug just sits nicely in there. And then this is what you buy. This screws on, and then you just push the button to dispense your water. And it works really good. The last tiny bit doesn't because it's on an angle, but you can just flip this. It's super light by that time, and you just flip it upside down and get the rest of the water out. But yeah, that thing works good, and it's dirt cheap. Like 200-300 pesos for that setup. And you just screw the white thing right onto the jug, and you're done. Off to the races. So that's what we do for water out here. So again, recommendations. If you've got some space where your water comes in, take a look at where your water comes in at your house. Or if you have a well, you've already got a pressure tank. But think about getting a pressure tank and getting a pump. And that pump will pump up the pressure tank, and then the pressure tank will feed your house. And even if you got 1/2-inch pipe, it'll at least give you a nice pressure. It might not give you a whole bunch of more flow, but it'll give you good pressure, help your showers out. And also the water heaters on the showers. If you notice, they've got washers that are really small, and a lot of times they'll have a grate, metal grate on that washer too, and those things will get clogged up. So check your unscrew it from the water heater, and check your lines, because that'll blow up your flow too. That gets caked up with gunk. It'll make your shower pretty miserable. But those water heaters, they use shower heads that restrict the flow of water too, so it can actually heat the water as it passes through the water heater device. So keep an eye on those too, because there might not be anything you can do to help your flow if you've got a crappy water heater and it restricts the water flow enough that it can only heat a small amount of water going through. So to give you a hot shower, it reduces the amount of water going through. So take a look at your water heater also. And in my opinion, you can't get a big enough water heater. I think I've got a 6,000 watt water heater, and I run it about half throttle. So but depending on the voltage of your place, if you've got crappy voltage and you're out in the province, that water heater is not going to have enough voltage to bring up the water to the same heat level that it would if it had proper 220 volt voltage. So think about that too, because I know I have voltage problems out here in the province, and so that's another subject that we'll get to at some point in the future. My off-grid solar. Basically, long story short, I had 150 volts or less a lot of times out here in the province, and all my gear was struggling, including my water heater. So I just said screw it, and I got a big enough system that I can just take it off grid, and I get 220 volt all day, every day now, thanks to my solar setup. And I just flip the switch to off grid, and they can get bent. So that's what I'm up to. That's your water discussion, and I'll check you later.